Recording. Hi, welcome to the New York Parrot Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering, your host. Today we have Rana Zaman. He is from Bangladesh, and we want him to introduce himself a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your literary works, and just give us some idea of what you write about.
Thank you. I basically write every sorts of things, poems, short story, novel, rhymes, etc. And till today's, I have more than 91 publications.
Right.
And my first book was published in 1998. That was a collection of poems. The name of the book was in Bangla, Poddo Patar Shishir Bindu. In English, that will be The Dew Points of the Lotus Leaf. And I feel free to write all sorts of things. Short story, in shorts for 100, containing 100 words, 20 words, 50 words, 300 words, and little big story, novel, rhymes, two-liner, three-liner, twinkling poems. I have one publications 2 years before. That was twinkling poems containing one-liner, or that is a poem containing one line, two-liners. That was containing 2 lines, 3-liners, etc. And in Bengali, I have also molecular poems that is termed by our West Bengal friends. That was one-liner in Bangla. It is in rhythmic nature and also free verse. And I also like to write modern poets without rhythms or without free verse. That was a maximum poets in free verse and also in rhythmic ones. Please.
Interesting. So you're pretty versatile as a writer. I'm curious, how did you feel when you first published your first poetry collection? Were you excited, or were you maybe concerned, like how people would react to it? What mixed emotions maybe? How did you feel about it?
Obviously, that day was very happy for me, as because that day I was in service, in government service, and I was posted from my capital far away. And that was, I could not remember the date, but I remember the year. That was 1998, I have said earlier. And that was a collection of poems. And I like to say that I have started writing from my very childhood. And when I have set for SSC examination, after the completion of examination, I, along with my two friends, we have published a magazine called in Bangla, that is Bonospoti. In that magazine, I have wrote first my poems.
Okay.
And after getting admission in higher education, I have I engaged myself to continue write poems, short stories, etc. Until now, I am writing.
Right. So, are there any movies that inspire your writing or inform your writing?
It's a good question for me. I am very much enjoying movies, Bengali, Hindi, English, etc. And I am watching movies in view to learn something from the movies, and I should say that every movies inspired me to writing something that either that is poem or lyrics or rhymes or short story, etc. And also novel also.
Interesting. So you find that films actually are really inspiring for you.
Thank you very much.
That's really neat. And I don't run across too many poets who are big movie viewers in terms of like actually being inspired by the, watching movies and stuff. It's something I don't see too often. So it's very interesting that you are interested in films and movies. And do you ever find that you've returned to the same themes in your writing, or do you try to jump around and go from one theme to another when you're writing in various forms?
When I set for writing, now I am writing on my mobile phone using mobile. Earlier I have wrote in paper. Now I am not writing in paper. Now I'm writing in my mobile phone. And in order to write anything, when I am viewing any movies, along with I start to write short story or lyrics or poem, etc. And here I like to say that from my childhood, I am a good reader for reading books out of my textbooks. And I have read a lot of books in Bengali, obviously. And these readings also inspired me to write poems, short stories. And I like to write seeing any discontinuity, what I want to say that any imbalance in our society in terms of economy, in terms of social distribution, oil distribution, etc. That's also inspired me to write that is short story or lyrics, rhymes, or poems.
So maybe seeing some injustice and treatment of certain castes, or economic problems, government folly, government being silly,
unequal distribution of oils, etc. Also,
that's a lot of poets. I mean, they write about social injustices and things, and it's and especially in this time. I mean, do you find that COVID has really affected the state of your country in terms of like how its government is operating and trying to address the issue?
COVID is engulfing us from last 1.5 years, and I have wrote a lots of lyrics, poems also. Taking a subject COVID in my poems, and which I like to say that rhymes is more written by me, taking COVID as a subject.
Right. Of course, we have to write right now. It's very important.
All are in Bengali. I have now translating my poems in English, and 3 years back I have published English two books I have published in English. One is purely poems, a collection of poems. Another is, I have earlier said that, twinkling poems, that is one-liner, two-liner, short, that is short lyrics.
Okay. Interesting. So you write a lot of like, kind of aphoristic style poetry.
Yes.
So right now, currently, what writers are you reading that really are your favorites? And has that changed? Have your favorite writers changed over the years?
Yes. When I am in childhood, that time, all our favorite poets are in Bengali. That is Kazi Nazrul Islam, Rabindranath Tagore, the Hassan Habib, Dr. Niharanjan Gupta, etc. Lots of Ashutosh Mukhopadhyay, lots of writers were there. Now, in present, some poets are very much fond of me. There's one of them, Alauddin Stalin. You have earlier interviewed him. And Lutfur Rahman Riton, Mutin Boiragi. That's like.
Do you find you enjoy a lot more contemporary writers right now than before?
Yes, and all these are all our poet, not their novelists or short story writers, short story writers.
Right. So, would you like to share a poem with us for the audience?
What? Any poem or anything?
Yeah, you want to read some of your own work for us for the program?
I don't understand your question. Please repeat again.
Would you like to read a poem or something of your own for the program?
Yeah, obviously.
This is the New York Parrot Literary Corner. We're with Rana Zaman, and he's going to read some work of his in a moment. So please stay tuned, and it's definitely a good day out there for right now for us. We have some pleasant weather. I'm sure everybody's having a great day. So keep in touch with us, and tomorrow you never know where we'll be. We'll be, we may be in Korea, talking to someone there. So keep in touch with us on this program and keep your viewing eyes alert on us.
Let me find the poem. I have got one poem. The title of the poem is Only Heartbeat Can Feel.
Okay.
If love recognizes the crooked path, then there is a fire in Blue Lagoon. When grass cannot bear the burden of dew, then it can only be a worker. Only heartbeat can feel the gradual blooming of a rosebud. When champagne is floating onto bottomless water, then need not any sail. Duty increasing the speed of boat by engine, emotion is evaporating. Love continues its journey in zigzag way, leaving rose petals on the side of the road.
Some interesting images there. What is the poem about? What is it a state of mind you're describing, or is there a feeling behind that?
It is feelings of love.
Right. It's a beautiful poem. I really especially like the way you ended it with the rose petals at the side of the road. That's interesting. It's a nice way of conveying, feeling of love and being partial to someone, or appreciating their who they are as a person. To think about those terms, and the way that you use that image, to describe sort of like I guess it could be a sensation or a visual aspect to something. Very nice poem. Thank you for sharing that.
Mr. Dustin.
Yes.
If you allow me, then I want to read another poems for my published book.
Sure, feel free.
Please. In this case, I have to leave from you for a while.
Okay. This is the New York Parrot Literary Corner. We're talking with Rana Zaman today. He is going to get a poem to read for us, and we anticipate this. This is going to be fantastic, interesting. He's going to read something from his published work. And in the meantime, I will discuss you can donate at paypal.me/nyparrot or ny, yes, nyparrot, to paypal.me/nyparrot to donate. If anybody would like to donate any amount, these are his books. Thank you for sharing these. Yes,
2 English books. One is Lost
Can you
Love,
raise
another
them?
is 20.
Put them a little higher. We can't see them.
Yes.
I love the covers. They're beautiful. I love that. Those are very beautiful.
Thank you very much. Now I like to read a poem from my collection of poems named Lost Love.
Okay.
The first poem I like to read, that the title of the poem is Lost Love. The book has been nomenclatured with this name. Leaves of the trees turn to be pale. Cactus fails to suck nutrition from stone. Strings of the violin have forgotten to play. Valuable foods are becoming rotten. Bridges on all rivers have wrecked. Drinking water tastes brackish. A dark cloud starts to swallow kitchen garden. Words of popular lyrics are getting distorted. Smell of roses aggravate my feelings. Grim time is gradually stretching. Some memories is living within me that gives me pension, which compels me to live. This much.
It captures a feeling of being heartbroken and how the world just turns very cold and dark. You know, it can be once you're, when your heart's broken by somebody, you really, the world just turns into a really bad, you really see the world in different lens, and it can be great fruit for poetry. I really appreciated that poem. It was wonderful to hear it. And thank you for sharing your poetry. And I appreciate that a lot. So what are the poets like in Bangladesh? Are there any reading circles that you've attended, or poetry readings that you have enjoyed going to before COVID? Of course, now they're
yes. In Bangladesh, a good number of circles are there. They are arranged reading session every weekend, and in a weekend there are more than 4, 5, or 6 circles have been happened.
Okay.
Before COVID coming, I have attended more than 5 or 6 circles in a month. But when COVID, when COVID attacks, now all these circles are temporarily closed. Now I have occasionally attend 1 or 2 circles in virtually, and all are in Bengali. And in those circles, all writers who are attended the circles, either he is a story writer, short story writer, or lyricist, or poet. They cited their poems or their writings, and after completion of citing writings, 2 or 3 people discussed about their gravity and the what I want to say, the gap of the writings of their poems or lyrics. That is in every circles there are a discussion session after citation of the works, and in that way we are able to get if there is any gaps or there is any loopholes in one's writing, those poets or lyricists or story writers corrects himself from that circle, and it is very, very useful for us.
It helps improve your writing and to be with other people who are listening in, and they say, maybe this doesn't work for me as a reader, and they can correct the, the process of their writing, and maybe make it a lot more easy to read for people who are reading it. Yeah, we have some of those kinds of groups here too. It's I haven't attended any in a while, but we have a lot of writing circles and reading circles too. And like you said, COVID has been dramatically impacted the way that we interact, and so it's been, not as been as in person. We haven't done many of those kinds of groups in a long time, but it did happen before COVID. I'm curious. You used to work in government, and I'm curious, what did that teach you about society, and did that have anything to do? Did that ever inform your writing somehow? Like, did you ever bring in some of your observations from your work into your writing?
Thank you very much for your question. I have served as a bureaucrat in government Bangladesh for 33 years. Now I have got retirement from 2019. Now I am free from government service. And one thing is that in our system, that if any employee likes to write anything, that should not be engaged against the government.
Right.
When she is working within the government. After I quit the service, after getting the retirement, in that case, one can write anything which he seems think fit for his rights. That maybe the criticize of the government's works, or also criticize of the criticism of the government, etc. And I am very much lucky that I like to write. I engage myself to write in that way, and my maximum lyrics nowadays and also poems are the criticism of government activities and also social activities, which was imbalance from higher society to lower society.
So, I mean, you're saying that while you're working within the government, you haven't written about government activities or things that are going on within that system. Is there a law, or is it just that you didn't have time, or?
Yes. When one will be engaged in a government service, there is a law that he can write anything which only purely will be literary works, not any criticism against the government activities or government.
Right. Oh, okay. That's interesting how that's sort of that there's that law in place. I wasn't aware of that. That's interesting. So, and one of my last questions is, for you personally, what is the meaning and value of poetry?
Oh, thank you very much. Poetry, poetry, in one word, poetry is a poetry, the expression of one's minds. And I like to say that poetry means expression one's thoughts in a poetic way. What cannot be said in story or rhymes can be said effortlessly in poetry. That is poetry. And I also add something that poetry will go further. I have this expectation in the theme of all obstacles. Where there is exploitation, there will be poetry. Where there is inequality, poetry will be vocal in eliminating inequality. Where there is separation, poetry will speak in an attempt to reconcile. Poetry will awaken love in everyone's mind, even in a hard heart.
Excellent. So it brings people together. It relaxes your emotions. It appeals to the mind in a way that other forms of literature don't. I think that's a great response, and I do appreciate your time today. It's been a wonderful talk, and I really appreciate your poetry. I'm glad you shared it with us. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the show. It's been wonderful talking with you again. So this has been Rana Zaman, and this is the New York Parrot Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering, and this has been an excellent afternoon with Bangladesh poet. And tomorrow we will be in a number of places. You know, we're keeping an eye on the world. And if you would like to donate, anybody out there can donate to us to help us out. It's at paypal.me/new NY Parrots. That'll be, you know, our PayPal account. And please subscribe to our channel. We're looking for 1 million subscribers over time. We're going to be doing this for a very long time. And we're giving everyone a platform who is writing and doing creative work. If you need a platform, get in touch with us at literarycorner@newyorkparrot.com. That'll be a great opportunity for anyone and everyone, regardless of where you are in the writing world. If you're just wanting someone to speak with and get your work out there and talk about it, or if you have some thoughts to share with the people. So thank you again for joining us today, Rana. It's been wonderful talking with you. And this has been the New York Parrot Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering. Please keep in touch. Leave some comments. Tell us what you think. We would love to hear from you, and thank our viewers as well. And have a wonderful day. Go out there and do some writing and observing, and think about the world as it is, and keep a positive attitude and try to be happy. It's very hard right now, but we're starting to come out of this crisis in some places, and other places it's getting worse. Just keep moving on as best as you can. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you also.